Okay, let's get into this incredible recipe. I've got basic vegetables here. I've got cabbage. Now have a look at this cabbage. Very different to cabbages in Australia and New Zealand that I've seen before. It's flat. Cabbages in Australia are big, like this. Very different. Just looking at my friend Lasmi over there, she's like, oh really? I'm like, yeah. So they're very different here in Indonesia. I've got some carrots, some mushrooms. Really nice mushrooms actually. You can use button mushrooms, shiitake, whatever you want to use. I've got some portobellos here, which are great. Some spring onions, which look giant, but they're very airy. They're not like the spring onions back home. Very interesting, good flavor. I've got some garlic and I've got some tofu. Now I have I would say this would be a hard tofu. Yeah. So there's silken, soft, medium, hard and firm tofu that I know of, and I would say this would be a hard, no, maybe it's a medium. Anyway, that's what you're after, okay? Something that's just not gonna fall apart as you're holding it. And then I've got some brown rice paper. So just random stuff I found in my cupboard. And I've got some arrowroot flour. You could use corn flour, potato starch, potato flour. Depends what you have. Now I'm gonna somehow put this all together. So bear with me, because I've never made this before. And I'm hungry and I can't wait to put this together. I want flavor. I'm gonna cut this all up, grate it. I'm gonna use my grater, my dad's grater actually, which my mum said to me the other day. She said, can you please bring back Dad's grater? I said, Mum, you gave me this 2 years ago and Dad's no longer with us, so can I just have the grater? She was so funny about it. No, I'm not bringing it back. I'm keeping it. Memories of little things. My dad used to grate his beetroot, capsicum, no joke, capsicum, carrot on this grater every day and make this huge salad sandwich. Would be about that big, I'm not joking, with brown bread, and then he would squish it. It would take him 45 minutes to an hour to eat it. And this grater has so many memories when I was a child in New Guinea and the office at lunch hour when he used to have his sandwich. And then when we moved to Australia, this grater has always been in the family, so I love it. Okay, let's get started. Ah, the memories when grating carrots, I swear. Food ignites so much, I don't know, not just memories, but it really ignites something quite phenomenal for me anyway, especially with this grater. Not just my dad having the salad sandwich, but you know, he used to whistle for us to come home when we were kids. So we would run around the streets of New Guinea, you know, at the back of his workshop, and when it came 5:30, instead of calling out for us, looking for us, he would whistle and we would know that whistle. Like things like that are coming up for me as I'm grating these carrots. It's so cool. I'm gonna grate the tofu now. And like I said, it's not falling apart tofu, and that's what you want, so you want to be able to grate it. This looks like cheese. It really does. It's amazing, isn't it? It's good tofu, this one. This is 200 grams of hard tofu. All right, perfect, look at that. All right, set that aside. And let's get onto our mushrooms. I'm gonna try and grate these. I've never done this before. Normally I chop them. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, it does. This is great. Get it? I did a joke. This is great. Nobody's laughing. How easy is this dish? It's so funny. One of the cameramen here is Wira. He's just had a little boy and just recently married, and he's in love. And he gets onto the phone to his wife and he goes, hi, yeah. And then the other cameraman, Komang, who's behind this camera I'm staring at, he's been married for a long time and gets on the phone to his wife and goes, hello, hello. So the difference is beautiful.
Komang is gossip.
No. Yeah, that's true. All right, so that's nicely grated. Next is the cabbage. Can I grate the cabbage? Is that even possible? Let me cut it in half first and see. No, I'm going to shred it with my knife. Now you're going to probably use a quarter of your cabbage because the cabbages everywhere else around the world, except for Indonesia, are really big. So use about a quarter. Nice and thin slices, as thin as possible. And when you can no longer hold it, right, and you're feeling a little bit wobbly, turn it on its side like this, right? Cut it in half. Let's push this aside for a minute. Cut it in half and then go here and do the same thing. Look at this glory. Wow. All right, next is spring onions. I reckon I'll use all of these. Look really big, but they're not. They're very airy. They're just light. They just feel very, very light. Okay, we need to wash them because in there is some dirt. I love this sink. I love how big it is, how I can hide things in here and no one can see. And this is a really old palm sugar, what do you call it? Palm sugar wok. And what I did was I made a hole, actually my friend made a hole in the bottom and we made it into a sink. But can you imagine they collect the palm syrup and then they put it in here, they put this on top of a fire and they have this big stick and they just in Indonesia and they do this and this palm sugar just whips and whips and whips until it becomes really emulsified. Then they put it into a coconut shell and they set it. And this is where it gets heated in that beautiful sink. Well, wok sink. Right, slice this up thinly. Nice and fine. Shoulders back. Good intention. Cooking is freaking hard, I get it, takes time, but just know you're nourishing yourself with plants and I think that's a really big win for our organs, yeah? All right, I've got about 400 garlic cloves here. I think I'm gonna need 2, 4, 6. Just running your knife through, making sure it's all chopped up as fine as you possibly can. Don't stress. If you've got a garlic, when I mean don't stress is like don't think that you've got to do it like me. If you've got a garlic press, use that. Sometimes people grate the garlic as well. Just go with your flow. I'm just your little guiding light here at home in your kitchen. All right, boom, plants. Now we need flavour. I'm thinking sesame seed oil, tamari. I'm not going to put chili in because I think I'll put that in the actual sauce. What else? I think that's all I have. Maybe some maple just to balance it out. All right, I've got some rice vinegar. I think I'm going to use that. I've got some maple. It's really interesting when you don't, I think that's sesame seed oil, when you don't label things. It's very interesting. It wakes you up. You go, what the hell is that? Tamari. Anyway, let's give them a good smell and see what happens. Because they look the same, right? The maple and the sesame seed oil looks the same. So just to double check. Definitely maple. Definitely sesame seed oil. This is what I do in my online cooking classes, by the way. I don't label anything and it just gives you a moment to go, geez, what's in that? To going, wow. My taste bud memory remembers that that's sesame seed oil. And I think that's really good for our brain to remember what things are when there's no labels. It's really quite delicious. Okay, I have rice vinegar. I have maple. I have sesame seed oil. I have tamari. I have vegetables. Right, all over here. I have my rice paper ready. I have some arrowroot for thickening this situation up because we want it to hold because there's no rice in there. Now we're going to cook it down. Right, grab a pan. This is a beautiful little pan I've had for so many years. I can't even remember what brand this is because it's all been worn off. And I love this. It's some sort of a wokism. Don't know, but I love it. It's been with me for so long. All right, high heat. And now we're gonna add a good splash of sesame oil. I reckon a good tablespoon and a half, actually. Oh, that's a good splash. I'm gonna add my carrots in. Tofu and mushrooms in. Watch your hands. Even though I'm doing that, don't you do that. Use a spoon. I just have these asbestos hands. And there's some of that mushroom that didn't grate down. Just rip it up. Get that cabbage in. Then your spring onion. Get that pan up nice and high. Notice how I haven't added the garlic in yet? Just wait, let this wilt down a little bit. We want this to completely just shrink down. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper, not salt right now because I'm adding tamari, and tamari is a soy sauce. Even though I've got a reduced salt soy sauce, it's still really salty, and you wanna add the salt in last, because if I over salt now, I can't take it out. So that's why I always add it last when I'm doing dishes like this. So some really nice, beautiful, freshly ground black pepper. Big pinch. This is wilted down beautifully. I'm so excited. That was 5 minutes of doing that and standing near the stove. Now I'm gonna add my garlic. The reason why I'm adding it last, all those little bits off the board, actually, because I didn't want the flavour to wash away. That's probably the biggest reason. I want it to be in there. So now comes the flavouring. Soy sauce, at least 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Yeah, around about 2 tablespoons. I think that's enough. 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar for now. I just want that acid to come across. Give this a really good stir. Now this is when you taste. So much of me wants to put ginger in here, but I'm not going to because I'm going to put it in the sauce. Okay, I definitely need salt. That's why it's important to do it after the tamari. And I definitely need a little bit more pepper too. So I think it's around about a good 15-minute cook all up. That first initial stages, which took about 5 minutes. Okay, now have another taste. See where it's at. It's very hot. It's wilting down perfectly. Hot, 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 hot. Delicious. I want a little bit more of that liquid to come out of those mushrooms and that cabbage. And how do I even know that? Well, this is one thing with us cooks is we all do things differently. I can tell by just looking at it that there's so much liquid in the vegetables still, even though there was no liquid in the pan, as you can see, but I can tell that there's still liquid in the vegetables. So I'm going to cook it for another couple of minutes, which means it's a 15-minute cook all up. All right, as that's simmering away, doing its thing, I need a little bit of arrowroot flour or potato starch or potato flour or corn flour. I just need to really grab onto these vegetables with something because there's no rice in here, right? So I need that stickiness. So grab yourself a small bowl. So I'm gonna do like a teaspoon of that. And then I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of water. Just a little bit. It's only a touch just to make that slurry. Now, even just looking at this, I think I need more. So I'm going to do another teaspoon because it just doesn't seem like that's enough, right? So I'm going to do another teaspoon of arrowroot, but not a heat one this time. All right, there we go. Into there. A little bit more water to make that slurry. Okay, now we're good. All right, back over to the stove. Now have a look in my pan to see any liquid. Now it's starting to look quite dry now and it's really wilting down. This is brilliant. I'm gonna evenly just pour this all over and then I'm gonna mix this very well. Oh, I can see it's all coming together. Just that tiny little bit just brings it home. You wanna cook that for about a minute. Turn it off, clean up your area, get a tray ready with lukewarm water so we can dip our rice paper into it. We're going to need 2 sheets per dumpling and you're going to need a frying pan to stick them in so they get nice and crispy and brown. I'm going to use my ironclad pan. I talk about these guys all the time. Amazing. Generation after generation, this pan will be passed down in my family. Ironclad. Google it. Actually, I'll put the link below. These are the pans to have, everybody. They're amazing. I'm going to create a non-stick surface. And I've done this in a few of my videos, and I'm very proud to do it over and over and over again because I love it. You heat it up till it gets to smoke point, and then you get a cloth and you put some coconut oil in the cloth or a paper towel, and you wipe the pan to create that non-stick area. That is genius. Can you believe that? So this pan, through 3 generations, will be given to family members that will have a non-stick surface because of seasoning the pan every time you use it. So high heat, get it nice and hot. Also, I just want to recognize with Ironclad, they do send you one of these, which is a really gorgeous little leather pouch that goes over here, which then I don't burn myself. Ah, genius. So as that's doing its thing, I'm going to grab some paper towel and get my coconut oil ready. Now I need to figure out which one is not rice vinegar and which one is coconut oil. Aha, that's coconut oil, I can tell. Okay, that's heating up. Towel, coconut ready to season. We need a tray for this. Now I don't need boiling hot water. I just need a really good tray. Well, that was a good idea, I think, because it's round. Sometimes I swear my genius is great. Now I need some water. All right, smoking, check it out. Turn it down to a low. Get that oil ready to season that pan. So see, I've poured it onto the sheet. Now, if you need tongs to hold this, get some tongs. I'm okay because my hands are always in heat. My friends say I have asbestos hands. All right, it's on a super low. Yeah. Now I'm going to get my rice paper. Low, seasoned, beautifully done, perfect. This is when you add about a tablespoon of oil in there to just get that rolling around that non-stick surface that we created. Rice paper straight into the water. I just want to show you how this is sliding around on the pan, and that's not because there's oil in it, that's because of the seasoning in the pan. Then you put the oil in. Look at that. Oh, genius. Just wanted to really just hone in on how amazing these pans are, and the company is incredible. All right, there's a lot of water here, okay? Water and oil don't go together, so that's why I'm putting it onto the towel just briefly, just to damp anything off. And then I'm going to go straight into the pan. Now let's turn this one over to see the color. That's what we want, a nice dumpling. All right, continue on. Okay, this is still hard. It's not completely soft. That's important. As that goes down, that one goes in. And then my filling goes on top of this, like that. Don't put too much in, Cynthia. You're known for that. Now it's got a bit softer since it's been sitting. I'm making a square, little prezi. Pushing that back. Don't be afraid. It does get a little bit slippery, but don't be afraid. Okay. Now we get that paper. Once again, still soft. Still a little bit firm. Back in here. Look at that, it is still quite firm. That's what we're after. Onto the cloth, get some of that extra water off. Straight into the pan, be careful. Come back over here, that one we put in before. Put that over, perfect. Still going on that side, perfect. And rinse and repeat. I love these. Look at them. Oh, delicious and soft inside. That's what I want. I'm just getting a little bit of ginger, peeling all the bad bits off, you know. Don't need to peel ginger as much, you know, like a lot of people, especially organic ginger. This is my standard little recipe that I've got pretty much in a lot of my amazing, you know, recipes over the years, especially my first cookbook as well. Plant-based love stories, get it. You can get the digital version. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in my store. Get it. It's amazing. It's got so many beautiful stories. This dressing is pretty much my signature dressing when it comes to like dipping sauces. So I've got ginger, I've got tamari, I've got some, hope that's rice one. Yeah, rice vinegar for a bit of acid. Sesame seed oil, some maple, and I think I want some chili flakes. And all I'm going to do is create a balance of umami. Create a balance of umami. So ginger, about a thumb, half a thumb, I reckon, about that much. I'm just going to grate it into here. Perfect. I'm going to add, I think, 2 tablespoons of tamari. No, I'm going to add 3. 3 tablespoons of tamari. Perfect. 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, just for that acid. I need the fat, the savoury, which is sesame seed oil, which is around about 1 tablespoon. And then I want the sweetness of the maple, which is about 1 tablespoon to start with. You can adjust it and add more if you like. And then I want a bit of these yummy chili flakes, just a pinch, and that's optional. Now you're going to put a bit of pepper in this, give it a really nice stir. And now you're going to taste. Oh my God, it's genius. A little bit more pepper. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, that rice wine vinegar just brings it home. Oh my God. Okay, and then we're going to eat them. Seriously, have a look. Come nice and close into my world. Oh, which one? Maybe this one. Crispy and also soft. That's what I want. Okay, chopsticks and me are funny. Sometimes I can do it and sometimes I can't. Come on, Cynthia, grab it. All right, here we go, here we go. Here's the moment of truth. Holy. Domada. You know, I actually look European, and these are domadas. Oh my God, I can't say it, I'm so sorry. But there is a way to say it, domadas, I don't know. Anyway, I love them. And I've been wanting to make them my entire life. Seriously, when I first moved to Australia from New Guinea, I was working in West End in Brisbane, and I come across this amazing Greek family that made domadas. I think that's how you say it. Please, I apologise. And I remember eating them thinking it was the greatest thing in the whole world. And I had never made them, ever. Like 10 years later, 20 years, I've never made them. And the other day, me and my friend Lasmi decided to make them because I bought these in a deli and I was like, oh, I wonder how this would go down. And they're amazing. So this is like a little treat for myself and for you at home, because I was really scared to make these for so many years. And I don't know why, I just thought they were really technical. But now it's like, I can't imagine buying them. They're so beautiful and they keep as well. So I'm going to take you through the entire process of how to do this. First of all, you're going to have to get yourself some vine leaves. These vine leaves are around about 375 grams all up, and they've been, well, it says here they've been pickled with oil and lemon juice, so they're very quite tangy. So what I did when I opened these, I tasted them straight away. It's really important. Now, some people out there, you might get them in a tin. I don't know what that's like. I got them in a packet, but I did taste them and they were really gross actually. And so I decided to wash them. So when I open them up, and this is what you want to do at home, even if they're in the tin, really important to taste them first so you can get an idea of what you're dealing with. It's kind of my philosophy with food, right? Is tasting the beginning and the middle and the end. So when you open something up, the first thing we do as chefs is we smell it. And we identify, oh, it's hitting my taste buds already. I'm starting to salivate, which is really great for your actual, your gut brain, because you're using all your senses, right? Oh my goodness, they smell so beautiful and really tangy and sour. So the first thing I did was grab a little bit of the leaf after I smelt it and I tasted it. Oh, and it's like really in the bin, it's really intense. So washing them is really important. Yeah, and you just be rough, because I was like really gentle in the beginning. I was like, I don't need to be gentle. These are actually really quite sturdy. And then just pull them all apart and wash them. Now I did this about, when did I do this? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's Monday today. Oh, they smell great. They're still okay. I mean, look at some of the size of these. Look at that size, right? And then look at this size. They're really, really kind of like sturdy. Look at that. So there's different sizes in a packet. Really, really sturdy. All right. Okay. Next, you're going to soak your rice for about an hour. And I'm using a long grain rice. Strain it and wash it. Okay. The first time I made this, I used 1 cup of rice and I had all these vine leaves left over. So this time I'm using 2 cups of rice. All right, set that aside. Okay, so this is the rest of the ingredients. Got some tomato paste, got some dill, got some mint, got some fresh parsley, and I've got some spring onions. Got some normal brown onions, and I've got a whole bunch of lemons. Then I have some garlic powder and some oregano, and lastly some olive oil. And this is kind of the recipe. I'm going to use is it a small pot, a medium pot? I don't know, but a pot around about this big. So what we're going to do is line the pot first. Nice thick slices. So notice I've got the skin on, it's okay. Now this could be potato, okay, so don't panic. I've got vine leaves, which I'm going to put, I am going to use this big pot actually, this 5 litre pot. I'm going to put the vine leaves on the bottom of the pot, just to cover. I've only got like about 3 of them. Put the broken ones there, like whatever you have left over, just cover it like that. And then I'm going to lie the onion around the vine leaves. And this, like I said, this could be potato, this could be lemon and potato. Okay, done. Next, we're going to get all our veggies cut up. Oh my God, I think we're all just having a moment here. Comong's crying. Onions done. Okay, so I need to juice some lemon juice. Okay, it's around about half a cup of lemon juice. All right, let's get over to a pot and start sauteing. I am going to use the 5-litre pot to put the tomatoes in to cook, but I am going to cook in a smaller pot with the rice and the onions and all the things. Okay, so let's go. Now this was on medium to low heat the whole time, okay? This is the time to taste it. I know the rice is raw. This is a 6-7 minute cook all up, right? You run your spoon through like this, right? Nothing's sticking, nothing's burning, there's none of that going on here, right? Then you get your spoon, and this is what I do. Make sure it's a little bit cooler. Chefs, we got like this asbestos fingers, right? We can't feel anything. I just do this, the taste, trying to get the taste to see if there's enough seasoning. That just needs a little bit more salt. So I'm not eating the rice, I'm just kind of tasting the gravy that's wrapped around the rice. Still on low heat, so I just need a little bit more salt, right, in there. And then I know it's right. Now I'm going to turn off the heat and add the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to add it looks like a lot of herbs, right? And it is. We want flavour, and this is where the flavour is coming from. Now remember, this is off. It's turned off. I'm going to add around about a tablespoon of lemon juice to this mix. Give it a really good stir. And then we're ready to rock and roll, ready to wrap. Actually need a little bit more salt in there. Now remember, you're not you're not eating the rice, you're tasting the flavour. And like I said, the spoon, putting your finger over some of that yumminess. Oh my God, that's so good. Okay, here we go. Remember those leaves that have been kind of just soaking in water? Now I'm going to drain them. All right. Hey, Lasmi, do you want to help me?
Yes.
Thanks, mate. I'll use these leftover ones from the other day, which are still fine. They're fine vine. Fine vine, they are. Now you're going to layer them, and you can see, actually have a look at this. This is kind of like the shiny side, right? Lasmi, this is the shiny side, that goes down. Okay. And then the rough side goes up. Some of these are like broken and cracked, and I was like, how are they going to hold? Like, do I have to sticky them together? But they hold. Look at this one. This one's just totally broken, right? Look at that, which is fine. So something like that, I would put into this pot as its foundation and light it onto there. And remember, that can be potato and slices of lemon. It doesn't have to just be onion, but I couldn't be bothered going down to the shop, so you know how it is. Okay, Lasmi's on a roll. Nice and tight, okay? Just watch really carefully how we do this. Good energy too. Now the idea is to somehow keeping them the same size. And this is what I do. Now watch how I'm pulling that back nice and tight. I'm going to pop that there. Hey, look at my trick here. I put this there and then I make the same size.
Ah, okay.
I don't know how I knew that, but I created that just then. Maybe it is a thing. Now what happens if there's so much of it? I found that to be really rubbery the other day when I was eating it, and I loved it. I love the texture of it, but it's up to you. You can cut that off if you want to. But I don't think the amazing Greek, Lebanese, Italian women do cut that off. Nice and tight, yeah? So if I needed more, I would take a bit of that leaf and I'd put it here. So as you can see, that just acts like a bit of a handle for me to hold on to. Hold it over. Now you can see that this is breaking here. So I'm just going to move that leaf across, roll it over it, making sure everything's nice and tight like a present. Now we want to line them. So notice how this is like this. You want this to be on the bottom. And as you go around, you just want to make sure that end bit is on the bottom and nice and snug and tight. Just enough water. I've got about 1 litre of water and I'm adding some more because I want it to cover those vine leaves. So 1 litre of water, you're then checking it and then you're adding a little bit more water to cover those vine leaves and just to gently push them down like that. And we add a little bit more salt and pepper just to season that beautiful lemon olive oil water up. It's really great having salt and pepper on tap like this. That's just going to season that up. Now, my girlfriend said to me, you got to put a plate over the top. So I need a plate that's not going to break in the heat. This is a good one. Is it too small? Oh no, it sits perfectly. Look at that. I'm just going to do it like this. Someone can tell me that I'm doing it wrong or doing it right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's just all have good energy. I am going to cook it with the lid half off. Like this because I want to get the heat up. So 30 minutes, boil the shit out of it, turn it down to a low, lid on, cook it for like an hour. I cooked these on Friday. I have some in the container that I'm going to bring out in about an hour just to see what they're like. And I want to know how long these last in the fridge for. So that's another thing that I'm experimenting with. It's all an experiment really. All right, I've done this wrong, which is good to know. I think Lasmi said the plate was too small, the bowl. Well, I think that's a saucer, right? Just be careful, this is really hot. This is really cool. I'm learning so much about doing this. And I don't like to Google, by the way. I'm not a Googler. I like to talk to grandmothers and aunties and people and go through. I'm not going to get on YouTube and Google how to do this. It's just not my thing. But I think she's right about the plate. That's the first thing. Yeah, that's even too small too. That might be better. Try one more. Okay, that might be the way to go. So they look pretty good, but the ones from the outside that the plate weren't pushing down are coming apart. So what I should have done was push a plate that covered the whole thing up. Now I need to get back to what I was doing. All right. That little on the side, it's still boiling, which is awesome. Okay. Now I am wondering if I should turn the plate upside down. I think I need to turn the plate upside down. Here, have a look at this. Yeah, okay. Now we're cooking with gas. All right. 30 minutes on the boil, turn down, low heat, cooked for about an hour. Now, I did burn them on Friday, remember? So I was watching that and I want to see what I've done if I've burnt them again on the bottom. That's the vine leaf and the onion that protects the tomatoes. But anyway, this is kind of like the process of the whole thing, right? So they're cooled down. They're not that cold. Like they're not like, I want you to keep them in there for at least an hour after they've cooked. For me, it's been about 30 minutes, but I just want to get them out and show you what they look like. I can't help myself. I have no patience. Okay, let's try this one. All right, let's have a look inside. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my God, they smell amazing. Now, I don't know whether you can see here. You can see how it's a little bit burnt there. Now this is my second time making them, so I will get better at this, I promise. Speaking to myself right now. And then you're just going to sit them on here. You can see these ones that are really like nice and tight are held together, those two, but that one's not. So what you want to do, and I'm talking to myself here, is make sure they're nice and tight and really squished up together so they hold together. These ones are complete blowout. Now I can't wait to eat those. Yum, I'm gonna have them on the plate. Let me get the blowout ones because I'm gonna eat these. There's about 6 of them that I think they've blown out of all of them. Oh my God, I can't wait to eat these. It's my favorite thing in the world. Now, have a look down in here. You can see, when I rip this off, it's starting to get a little bit burnt there. And that's why it's important to put a protective layer of either potato and vine leaves so it doesn't burn your tomatoes. Now for me, I am going to definitely eat this onion because I think it's delicious. And that is it, everybody. That's my version with 0 teaching of the tomato. Oh my God, this onion's just going to be delicious. I don't even know if that's a thing. Anyway, see ya. Oh my God, this is very addictive. I can't explain the flavour. It's like lemony, right?
Yep.
Oily. What else? Delicious.
I can stop.
You can't stop. We can't stop. I think that's a really cool thing. Normally dumplings are done with pastry or rice paper, but this one's done with cabbage leaves. And my friend Lasmi was like, we need to do this. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So this is a wongbok cabbage. It's quite a big one. And I have no idea how many leaves to use. So I'm just gonna set this aside for now. But what you can do first off is to get some boiling water happening. So my water's been boiling for quite a while, right? And I've just turned it down. I'm gonna dump nice, a good couple of tablespoons of salt into the water. And I'm actually going to put a little pepper in as well. I know that's unusual, but it's to flavour the water, to flavour the leaves. So a little bit of pepper and salt, and that's just reached its boiling point and now it's simmered. I'm going to set this down for a minute and I'm going to get straight into the filling. So I've got 3 types of mushrooms. I prefer to use the Asian variety and not the Italian variety, which would be the porcini, the portobello, button, all that sort of thing. I'm using King Brown's, oh my God, how do you say this name? Shimushi? I can't even remember now anyway, but this is what they look like. And I've got some locally grown oyster ones. And oyster mushrooms come in different varieties. I've just got a basic oyster mushroom, these and the big King Browns, which are going to create a really nice balance of flavour. Got cauliflower, which is acting like my rice in a dumpling, which is super cool. I've got some spring onion and some carrots, and I need a little bit more flavour in this. So I am thinking, as I look over here in the corner here, there's some ginger and there's some garlic. So I'm going to grab, I've got some ginger here, and I've got some really nice garlic. And as I drink my water out of a I don't even know what these are called actually, but let me sit that up there. So what I'm trying to do is create a mush basically. So I'm trying to create a filling that I don't have to use my knife to cut it into tiny little pieces. So I'm going to put pretty much everything I possibly can into here to kind of mush it down a bit. So just watch the process. What's really important for you at home, and I really mean this with all my heart, is simply be ready, okay? A lot of people message me and go, oh, it's too hard, you use too many ingredients. And I'm like, you know what? Sure, I do use a lot of ingredients, but when you're ready, there's a mindfulness and a presence that happens. Put your music on. I have reggae on a lot in the house, and I have everything ready and my area's clean. Now, if the kids are running around, that's epic. Everything's sorted. Now I can get straight into cooking dinner. And I think that's really important for us at home, is to kind of act like a chef a little bit and have that kind of presence happening. So have your table or your bench space super clear. Stuff off your chopping board, because it's not a storage center. That's a big one us chefs really do. We don't like to store things on here. We like to cut and then move them on, so we're not, you know, navigating a heap of ingredients. All right, so that's ready. It's on the boil, which is boiled, sorry. Now I'm going to go to the filling. Just going to chop it up into chunks. This is going to go straight into my food processor. I'm not going to peel them, and I'm just going to chop them into chunks. Straight into the food processor. So these are the hard vegetables. So I just want to process this down so it looks kind of like a rice texture. I don't want it really mushy, and I don't want it really chunky, so there's an in-between. So just focus on when it comes out, because when you're at home doing this, not all vegetables are made equal, and not all food processors are made equal either. So remember, the nervous system's relaxed, everything's in order, you're after a rice consistency. That is a beautiful consistency. That's what you're after. Okay, transfer this into a bowl. Really great kind of midweek meal when you're after that, those Asian flavors, you know. One way to amp up the plant in your world as well, especially the family. I know my son would love these. Now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients in. So the mushrooms all at once, and I really want some garlic and ginger in there as well. I've got that put aside. I think that will just really amp up the flavour as I'm cooking this. I'm trying to imagine what this will taste like, and I think that's one of the things when it comes to food is we always want to follow a recipe, and I get it, I really get it. Though sometimes we don't have the ingredients. So when you're thinking about Asian flavours and you're thinking about Asian food, always think about like the umami flavors. So you want that salty, the sweet, the sour, the chili, and you want the acid. So the salty would be like tamari or soy sauce, and the sweet would be like maple or coconut sugar or palm sugar, and the savory would be like sesame seed oil. So you're just cutting the ends off these little mushrooms. Now you've got the bigger king ones. God, these are amazing. And all I'm going to do is just run my knife through these. And I've got some oyster. And the oyster, this is really kind of woody, the stems here, so I want to remove those. Very strong, actually. All right. Just going to run my knife through that. Now this is going to go into the food processor. All of them together. I think I just felt one roll on my foot then. So I'm going to pulse, meaning I'm just going to push till I can get that desired texture. Because the mushrooms break down, right? They're fungi, they're really got high levels of water in them. So I don't want to mush too much of a mush. Perfect. Get that. Transfer that to the same bowl. I love this dish already. It's not much chopping. These are really big spring onions. Like they're massive. They are really big. So I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to scoop this up, pull it here. This is what us chefs do. Anything to help us navigate the day of cooking to make it easier. You handle what you can handle. And then I'm just going to slice as thinly as possibly. Did I say thinly? Did I say as thinly as possibly? What I meant was thinly as possible. And it's a super relaxing cut, and that's what you want. All right, I want some ginger and I want some garlic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate both of these because I can't be bothered chopping them. These are little garlic cloves. So I think I want about 4, maybe 5. It's been washed. It's all good to go. And I'm going to get my grater and I'm going to grate both of these up. Now, how much ginger? I reckon like, I don't know, like a thumb, about this much. I'm not going to use all of this, just this much ginger. Now the garlic, same thing, grating it. These are really great, these microplanes. If you've heard of them, get one. They last a long time. They're a chef's tool. They're amazing. I think you can get them in kitchen stores. I always get mine at a commercial kitchen store or online, actually. They stay sharp forever. So this is going to cook down. I don't know how much cabbage leaves I'm going to need, but I want to cook this first before I rip this apart and blanch it all. Good tip. I'm going to use my amazing ironclad pan. You guys need to get onto this. It's an amazing company in New Zealand. They are incredibly generous and really well organized, and they've got a series of different pans. They're sustainable, they're interesting, they're a beautiful couple that have decided to carry on the tradition of legacy with pans, and I think that's awesome. So this pan that they gave me 3. This particular one I'm going to have for the rest of my life, and my son Jamin is going to have it after me, and I think that is cool. So you can do your weights. It's really heavy. I need a high heat, and I need this to heat up. And cast iron is interesting because you can create a non-stick surface with this cast iron pan, and I'll show you how, and nothing will stick. So instead of buying pans with that Teflon or whatever it's called, like those rock or those other pans, this is the gig. This is forever lasting, forever giving legacy, and it's also creates a non-stick surface. And it's called seasoning your pan. And they have a whole process. They show you how to do that when you buy them. So this is going to heat up till it's at smoke point, and then I'm going to get a cloth, like a bit of paper towel, put some oil on it, and I'm going to wipe over that. And then I'm going to add my oil back into it, a couple of tablespoons, and then I'm going to saute everything, and you just see how it doesn't stick. It's very clever. This is really cool. So where it's capturing the smoke that's coming off the pan for you at home, and I can see it from here, that's what you want. So I'm going to grab some paper towel, right? Couple of pieces. I'm going to use coconut oil, right? And what you want to do is you want to get the coconut oil onto the paper towel. You know, a couple of, good splash of it. There's about a tablespoon on there. You can see that. Just rolling it around on the towel. Now don't burn yourself. You can use tongs. Us chefs use our hands. You can use tongs. And you're going to do this. And this is what you call seasoning a pan. So that creates a coating. Now I'm going to turn it down low, super low. It's at smoke point, which is fine. It's what we want. What's really cool about these pans as well, they give you this little situation so I don't burn myself. And it goes straight onto here. How cool is that? It's so great. So now I'm going to add my coconut oil because it's sealed. That creates that non-stick surface. So I'm going to add, like, I don't know, what do you think that is, like a tablespoon coconut oil. Roll that around, and now I'm going to add my amazing filling. And you'll see how it's not sticking. Want all of that in there. Oh my God, that smells beautiful. So I've dumped the cauliflower and the carrots and mushrooms in there. I'm going to turn my heat back up because I can hear it kind of cooling down. Now I'm going to show you a close-up of how this is not sticking. Look at that. That's amazing. And that's the brilliance of this pan. Managing your heat is really important. I can't really hear that. So I've really turned that up high now to get that heat coming back into it. And my shallots and my garlic and my ginger is just going to hold there for a minute while this breaks down. I am going to add pepper first, not salt, because I'm going to add tamari to this. So pepper. I was just about to get the salt then, but just pepper straight into here. This is breaking down beautifully. Good 3 minutes. And then you can add your spring onions and your ginger. I'm going to keep some of those spring onions actually for my dipping sauce. And here comes my ginger. Here comes my garlic. Next I'm going to add a splash of tamari. I reckon 2 tablespoons. Let this cook down and then I'm going to taste it and you're going to taste it. I'm going to see if I need salt, which we will, but it's important to add that after the tamari because soy sauce, tamari's soy sauce that's not fermented on a grain, so it's gluten-free, but it can be very salty. I like to use reduced salt tamari, but still can be salty. That's why you add the salt last. Actually, the cameraman had just said it smells good, so that's a good sign. Salt. Oh my God, that tastes as good as it smells, actually. Look at me talking myself into it. A little bit of salt, just a little. Stir it again. This has been 5 minutes. 5 minutes of cooking. It's not a long time. Taste again. Yum. Oh my God, that's delicious. I feel like I want just like another tablespoon of tamari in there. Just to bring it home. All right, that's gonna do its thing. So all up, this cooking time is around about 8 minutes, okay? The preparation time was seriously just chuck it in that food processor. So this is a really good midweek meal when you don't want to cook. I'm so excited about this for my menu at home. This is like game changer. And even if I didn't want to do the cabbage thing, I could just have it with a bowl of rice. Just have this mush with some rice or I don't know, whatever really. Okay. Now, don't forget that I left some of this spring onion here for my dipping sauce. Bless you, Wira. I know it's really coming off, right? That smell's really coming off. And that's still on high heat too, by the way. I haven't changed that. What was I saying? Yeah, the spring onion. I've left that just that little bit for that dipping sauce and I'll chop that up again a little bit finely. All right, so this is happening. Now I'm going to clean my area and we're going to blanch these leaves. All right, this is beautiful. Now I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to place this over here. Oh my God, I love this pan. And the residual heat is going to continue to cook this. And nothing has stuck. I just love that. I absolutely love that. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how many rolls is this going to make? So this is a cool tip. I'm going to smooth this out, and I'm going to start to portion it out so I can figure out how many cabbage leaves I'm going to blanch. And I'm actually going to blanch a couple of extra, because just in case I stuff it up, which could be possible, that I have that on tap. So let's portion this out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. So I'm going to get 8 of these. Cutting the end off. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we're going to go to the stove and we're going to blanch it. So what you're going to need is tongs. What are you going to need, Cynthia? You're going to need tongs and you're going to need a strainer. Back over here. Okay, I reckon about maybe 2 minutes, maybe, I reckon. It's been about 1.5 minutes and I'm looking at this core part. I need that to roll and not snap, right? And that's looking good so far. It just needs another 30 seconds. Okay, so the inner cabbage, right? Have a look at this. This is soft compared to the outer cabbage. That one's going to be done. So I'm just going to place that on my strainer. That one as well, because you can kind of see how soft that is. Just lay them on top of each other. What a great thing to do in the middle of the week. Calms the nervous system down, hey? All right, let those ones do their thing and let's start rolling. Come in.
Hi.
Hey mate, look. They're working. Is that right? Does that look right? I love it. I love this.
God, I smell is
Can you smell it outside?
can be ready like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be ready in 5 minutes. But does it look good? Does it look good?
Very good.
And then in the pan, right?
Yep.
To make it a little bit brown.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Little bit oil
Yep.
and then friend.
I love my cook friends. They all know things. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. I love it when my friends come over or people I work with that love cooking as well. And you get to just discuss things of, oh, we could make that better, or, you know, it didn't hold very well, or what could we do? And, you know, I was actually worried last me that these weren't going to hold very well. But they're holding, yeah? They're holding well.
Yep.
I thought they're going to fall apart. No. Wow, amazing. Next step, I'm going to wash this pan and then season it again. Reason being is this is how you look after the pans. I'm not going to wash it with soap or anything. I'm just going to wash it just with water and a cloth. It's still pretty warm, and then I'm going to put it back on the heat and I'm going to put my cabbage back in the pan. So interesting, when I first started using cast iron years ago, I used to get the steel and scrub it, and then I learnt from a chef, it's like, don't do that. Don't ever do that. I'm like, oh, why? And he goes, you've got to season your pan first, so you don't need all that scrubbing. And when you're finished with a pan, we're not now, we're using it again, but if I was to finish with this pan today, I would do exactly the same thing that I'm doing now, heat it back up, wait for the smoke point to come, turn it off, get my cloth, put oil on it, season it, wipe it down so there's no water, and hang it back up. And that's how you look after a cast iron pan. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these little babies back in there. Now, there's a lot of water content here in these cabbages. So oil and water kind of create fireworks. So be really careful around the kids how this is going to go down. So I want to heat this back up. Right, that same process with a little bit of oil. Just to see that pan. All right, then just a little bit like a tablespoon, and roll it around. Now this is on medium heat. I'm going to turn it down to low. Using your tongs, one at a time. Now I don't think I'm going to fit all of these in here, but I'm going to do the best I can. This is great. This is such a good pan. I keep saying it, but like, you guys got to get this because this is a legacy moment. I'm not going to throw this out. This is it. This pan's going to last for generations and generations, and it's a non-stick surface. And that's that part where I did the cloth. I mean, look at this. Watch this. It's not even going to stick. Ready? All right, this pan is on low now, which is great. Still no sticking. All right, I need to make a dressing. So two or 3 minutes on each side, managing your heat, let it be. Let's get into the dressing. So I've got this kind of thing that I saw once, I can't remember where it was, Instagram or somewhere, where someone poured hot oil over situations to create flavor. I'm gonna do that. And I want to toast some sesame seeds. So I'm going to use the other little cast iron pan, which is from Ironclad, and I'm going to show you how to toast sesame seeds. All right, straight on the heat. It's nice and high heat. Now I don't need any oil on this particular occasion because I want it to toast sesame seeds. I'm going to turn off the heat. All right. I'm then going to take this off because I'm going to need this and pop it on this one. I'm going to let that be over here and do its thing. It's going to remain hot and delicious, and I'm going to make this dressing. So with the dressing, you want a high heat and you want some sesame seeds. These are raw sesame seeds. I'm going to wait till I get a little bit of smoke point here. I don't want a lot because it will burn. So I'm just going to manage this carefully, and I can actually feel the heat. Like I said, I don't want this in full smoke point. I reckon 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. Now what you're after when you're doing stuff like this, all right, you're after the popping sound, which cracks the oil, which creates flavor. And you just want to move things around, and it creates a little bit of noise. You don't need a spoon. And then you can do the swirl. You ready for the swirl? So we want a little bit of change of color on this. Not too much, and they're starting to do that now. You can see. I'm going to turn that pan off. It's literally a minute. Okay, great. Awesome. To add to that, I'm going to add my spring onions. I'm going to add some grated ginger. I reckon about the same amount. Wow, that's smelling great. Do I want any garlic? Maybe not, yeah. I need the tamari. Just around about, I reckon, 3 to 4 tablespoons. I want some rice wine vinegar, around about a tablespoon. Okay, well that smells great. Now I'm adding a little bit of maple, around about a tablespoon, because I want that sweetness. Got some sesame seed oil. I reckon around about a teaspoon. Here you go, mate. Thank you. I've got some chili flakes, optional, around about half a teaspoon. This is off the heat, remember? Just swirling. Now you want to taste it. Oh wow, that's delicious. Oh my God, I need more tamari because I need more, because there's how many rolls? I just need a little bit more tamari. Another tablespoon, I reckon. And I'm balancing flavours in my mouth. I want the acidicness of this rice vinegar. Just another tiny little bit. Then I need to balance it back out with the maple a little bit more. This is it, right? This is cooking. It's all about ease and flow. Definitely going to need pepper. And just a pinch of salt, just a little bit to bring up flavour. Give it another stir. Have another taste. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That is stunning. Over here next to the cabbage rolls. We're done, really. You can tip all this on top, or you can do what I'm going to do. I think they're probably still too hot to cook, to eat, but you could try. Don't burn yourself. Take one of these glorious little moments. Oh, that is still a bit hot. Dip it in the sauce. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's yum. It's amazing.